Hi and welcome to the Tali Loz podcast, and we have something to celebrate. Cheers!
Cheers!
Tali Loz is 1 year old.
Celebration
time. And we're going to do it a little bit different this time because Hayley, she is going to interview me.
Yes, I am.
All right.
So we decided, seeing as it was a very special anniversary, the first anniversary, I think it's possibly one of the most special.
Oh.
For me anyway, I just think, you've made it through the biggest hurdle of them all is getting through a year in business. And I think that's huge. And first of all, well done, Laura.
Yay.
And of course, we have got a glass of wine to celebrate.
Yes. So if we start to talk a bit weird, not? You know why it is.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm lucky enough to have been around for a while.
Almost the beginning.
Yeah, since almost the beginning. Just helping Laura out here and there.
Yeah.
And
a lot.
Seeing how we go.
Yeah.
Giving her some random input. Some of you will have heard my voice before on the live sales.
Yeah.
Some of you might not. If not, you should definitely tune into a live sale, that's for sure. But I thought it was a good time for some of the listeners to find out a little bit more about the background of Tali Loz and how you started, for those who haven't seen the journey unfold since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So, Laura, first of all, tell us a little bit about your background and how crystals entered your life and how that kind of began, I guess.
So, it was actually my mum. She introduced me to crystals when I was a little human.
A tiny human.
Tiny, really annoying Laura. So she introduced me to it. But the thing was, as I grew up in like a little countryside town in the Netherlands, we didn't talk about it because if you did, then people would think you're really bloody weird. And it's so we sort of like kept it indoors, and I didn't really tell my friends and that kind of stuff. And so they've sort of hurtled around in my life, and then I sort of lost them throughout my teens and early-ish 20s. And then I traveled through Australia. You see a bit more like crystals as well, and people wearing a lot of bracelets, including myself. So there it sort of slowly started, but it trickled back in. And especially the moon, because we have like moon parties over there, and I always was really close to the moon anyway. Like I always loved watching the moon with my mom and with my brother and my dad as well on holidays and stuff. And then I moved to London. I met my ex-husband in Australia. We moved to London. He's English. And then I started to work for Space & where I know you from.
Indeed you do.
Most people are now my friends I know from Space & And a lot of people were into spirituality, into crystals, and then it just triggered again. And I was so happy I could talk about it and not being weird. I am still weird, but not that weird.
I think that's the thing with us, isn't it? That Space & family, we are all absolute weirdos, but because we're all absolute weirdos, we feel absolutely normal.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it works.
That is kind of how it works. We're all and it was so nice just to be able to do that. Well, and then fast forward to 2020.
Yes,
as we all know what happened. Corona happened, and we were put on furlough. And me being me, I was at the time I worked for Chantecaille, where I was your manager.
You were.
And amongst the other people.
Crazy times on this planet.
Crazy times. Like we had the best team, people. Seriously, the best team. And then we got put on furlough, and I studied with digital marketing.
Yeah.
And then what happened, Natalia, who's also, aka Tali, she's the Tali for the Loz, she wanted to start, she already had a shop on Shopify. And she wanted to start another shop as well. And we came together, and then there was around the redundancy time.
Yeah.
We both got made redundant. And she showed me how to set up a store.
Handy.
So I was like, okay, so that's how you do it. And she taught me a little about social media and stuff. But then she fell pregnant. She did help design the apparel that we no longer stock. she got pregnant. She's got a beautiful baby boy now.
Oh,
So cute. And then I decided to keep the name Tali Loz, which Natalia thought was really cool. Anyway, just keep it. Okay. And then I started it. And luckily, with so many good friends like yourself, and Shireen was helping, and Diego, and Ellis, and for the others that I may have forgotten, I do apologize, but there's a long list.
A long list.
A long list. Were all helping me. It was so grateful. They helped me, especially with social media, because I didn't even know how to repost anything. Like, that was all my knowledge.
This is what we call a social media novice.
Yeah, I basically have a social IQ of a fly.
I don't know. They hang around in certain circles. I think they're quite social.
You think? Yeah, then maybe they are.
Then again, maybe not.
Maybe not. But yeah, so, I've been, of course, it's, my name everywhere, but I could not have done it without all of you guys.
Oh, which is lovely.
And you, especially you did.
And you have
lots the last
an exceptional circle around you, which is lovely. So, a year in, how are you enjoying running your own business?
Bloody love it. I love it. I'm just taking some of my wine in the meantime. I absolutely love it. Do you know what? I think it really triggered talents of me that I didn't know I had, and talents that I know I didn't have and still don't have. In the sense of, I know what I can do, I can't do. And for the things that I'm not very good at, you can help me, or you are helping me, I have to say. And if you other freelance, like Rania is helping me out with writing, and Emma with PR, and George helped me with photography. And but I think things are getting better. And I think also just the engagement with customers that I'm, learning and still really liking, because I've been in retail since I was, 16. So it's a long time.
Well, I mean, with your background in luxury retail especially, that really, to me, is something that's super apparent throughout Tali Loz, because everything has that luxury feel to it, from the packaging to the service that you provide, to the fact that you even are drying your own flower petals to put in and make everything look so beautiful and smell so beautiful.
Yes.
And it really, everything has that luxury feel to it because of that luxury background that you've got as well.
Yes.
And I think that you've done an exceptional job with all of that.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited to see where the future goes for Tali Loz, but more of that to come. We're not going to delve into that just yet.
No.
Obviously, you just touched a little bit on learning what you're good at and what you're not good at. But what other lessons have you learned so far running Tali Loz?
I've learned so far that I think the biggest one, which I have to keep telling myself, there's actually a couple. One, don't compare yourself to others. And I'm very bad for that.
Oh, you're terrible for that.
I was like, why does that person have 100,000 followers and we've got 2,000?
And he's been running his shop for 30 years. Yeah. Yes, he might not have been on social media for that long, but he's been running a business for 30 years and you've been running one for 1 year,
Laura. So I'm terrible for that. I think that is a lesson I'm working on.
You're getting there.
Slowly.
Baby steps.
Yeah. And I also think there is no success without failure. And with that, what I mean is that, yes, I have made the wrong choices. I mean, not disastrous, obviously, because otherwise Tali Loz would not exist at the moment. But I've made bad investments. I've made a weird choice for whatever, photography, for wording, or some apps like on Shopify. You can implement different apps for shipping that completely went wrong with customers. But luckily, my customers are very, very good. So they understood and they could see, just me behind that particular side of the business. So you will make mistakes and you will have little failures. But then I thought for myself, the failures are actually, and I like this quote that I randomly came up with myself, the failures are actually compass to success.
Absolutely.
And I quite like that because you know what's wrong, but it also gives you then the right direction. You know what's not right, or not entirely right, and then you can move on to the right
And
side.
Absolutely, you've learned from every step, haven't you?
Yes.
Like from the very first version of the Tali and Loz website to the version of it now. There's been several changes. Six changes.
6 big changes I've done. Yeah. And I think now...
So that's one every 2 months on average.
Basically, yes. And every time it takes me about 5 to 6 days to do one.
Yeah.
And I'm talking all the photography and re-tagging the products and a lot of things behind the scenes. But even now, like, digital marketing is not just putting adverts on Google. It's also what something's called SEO. So how do you get high up in Google? Is the right wording? Is the right URLs even? The little doodahs behind the doodah.
The doodahs behind the doodahs.
Doodah, very
clear. Technical.
Yeah. And there's so many tiny details. And I love details.
Of course. You are probably one of the most detail-oriented people that I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
No one loves a spreadsheet more than Laura. Nobody. I think you do details extraordinarily well, and that's one of the main reasons that everything is going as successfully as it is.
Yes.
And obviously, over this time as well, the business has expanded massively in terms of different directions as well. Of course, we're sat here right now filming a Tali and Loz podcast episode.
Yes.
Which is insane, really.
Yeah.
I remember months and months ago saying to you, oh, maybe one day we could have a podcast.
Yeah.
We're funny.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
But that tiny little idea of us being silly and saying we're funny has turned into something that's actually brilliant. And to have people like Jev coming on regularly and speaking about evolutionary astrology, which is so interesting.
Yes.
And to have Becky and her Reiki and so many other people coming on and sharing their version of spirituality with you and teaching all of us, not just you and not just me, but everybody listening about so many different aspects of spirituality. And I think that's fantastic. And I think that it can only get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I hope so.
And I'm so happy that you've expanded in these directions.
Yeah.
And I definitely am excited to see where else Tali and Loz goes in the future. Where would you like to see Tali and Loz 5 years from now?
Oh, wow. Controversial question. Well, there's quite a few things that we are working on together as well.
Secret things.
I think one of the... Well, obviously, we also started more on social media as well. Like, we're on TikTok now.
We are.
I mean, Laura's on TikTok. Okay. And the funny thing is, like, Hayley is managing all of that. And I'm just doing my silly things and don't even look at myself.
It's kind of wonderful. The most ridiculous things that she does.
Yeah.
I'm just like, Laura, it'd be really funny if you did this. And she's like, okay. It works. It just works. I love to see the things that you're willing to do. Yeah. And I'm willing to push you a bit further and see how much more ridiculous I can make you be.
Yeah, I'm really crazy.
Because I think that will be really funny in 5 years' time to see you on a television interview with, I don't know, like Ellen or someone, and they're like, oh my God, pull back this Tali and Loz TikTok from 2021 and be like, see Laura looking sad at the crystals that have been sold.
Could be really sad. That is actually, that is a genuine thing.
Playing with different crystal shapes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also a real thing. But I think you're right. Do you know what? I do have crystals that have sold, and I generally think, oh, I wish I kept that.
Yeah.
And but that's the thing. It's like if I keep doing that, then
you don't have a business.
I don't have a business because I love those particular crystals I'm really attached to, as you know.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. We love Pac-Man. Pac-Man is our beautiful Pac-Man pink amethyst that looks like Pac-Man.
He does look like pink Pac-Man.
Pink Pac-Man. It does look like a pink Pac-Man. And
he's gorgeous.
he's so beautiful. And ideally, you know, I'd love to keep him with me, but, you know, he is for sale. But yeah.
Link in the show notes.
Yeah, link in the show notes to Pink Pac-Man.
I love that. I love that there's so many different aspects, and I want to know. I want to know. I know.
You do know.
Super cheeky there. I think there's a few things that we could
share already.
We could share. I think we could share a couple of little snippets to show people what's coming.
Yes. Okay.
Because there is some really exciting things coming.
Yes.
And obviously it will always, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, remain the baseline being a crystal healing business.
Yes.
But maybe you could give a couple of little
snippets.
Sneaky snippets.
Okay. So we are, as in we, Hayley and me, are working on a course. So
we are.
That's very exciting. So we like to teach people about crystal healing.
Yeah.
And I think we both believe, because we've seen a few.
We have.
That we do it differently than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A, because we're a bit weird. And B, it's going to be very interactive, right?
It is. We like to be interactive. I think that's something that we both
much more enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's going to be properly certified as well. We are have spoken to a few bodies that were willing to put their stamp on, which is brilliant, because then people, once they take our course, they can be insured. They're allowed to start their own business. So it's not just for someone. Well, obviously, even if it's your hobby, you can do it, but it's also it's a serious cause.
If you want to expand your crystal knowledge, it's a great place to start.
Yes.
But also, if you already have some knowledge and you want to get certified as crystal healer, which is really cool, really exciting.
Yes.
I know I'm excited to share it with the universe.
Yes. Me too.
And that was your idea.
Yeah. Well, you're the creative brain behind it.
Yes, but without you, Laura, there would be no knowledge behind it.
Yeah, that's why we're a good team. Like you're the creative person in this duo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dynamic duo. I like to think.
Yes.
Okay, so teaser on the course there.
Yes.
Super exciting. Hopefully launching very soon. We don't have a set date yet.
No.
But watch this space, ladies
before
and
Christmas.
gentlemen, boys and girls.
Yeah. It will be before Christmas.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Anything else you care to tease on?
Yes. So I am working on a physical shop.
A physical shop?
A physical shop.
Well, that would just be the most exciting thing possibly in the history of the universe.
Potentially.
To be surrounded by all of these beautiful things in one space. I say that like we're not currently surrounded by all of these beautiful things in a tiny space.
Yeah.
But
visual to the public, definitely.
Yes. So a physical shop.
A physical shop.
Any more expansion on that
yes.
you can tell us about?
Well, yes. So we are lucky to also work with other people.
Yes.
So there might be some room to have also, for example, we could do like master classes or yoga or Reiki classes and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But it's all in planning time. So yes, so there's no actual location just yet, or
So you heard it here first, folks. There
yes.
could well be
by the end of next year, let's just say. Because it's more, I personally thought I would have one before Christmas 2021. Ain't gonna happen, girl. No. So it's a bit more work than I thought.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. So, yes.
But that's super exciting. Wouldn't it be cool if we could celebrate the 2nd anniversary
in the shop
of Tali Loz by cheersing?
Ooh, in the shop.
In the shop.
Yes.
I had to have the cheers sound because where are we without sound effects?
Yes.
Really. That would be super cool. And I'm sure that pretty much everybody listening, if not everybody listening and more, would be beyond excited for that.
Yeah.
And would be spending a large amount of time and cash in that store.
Yeah. Yes, and gaining a lot of knowledge.
Because also, how much easier is it to part with your money when you're feeling the things in your hands? And it's just so, you just have to have it.
Much easier. And I think, you know what, we've got such beautiful pieces, especially the bigger ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we do have customers that are really interested, but are like, oh, I can't see it. And if people are living closely, there is a possibility we could potentially see it, just to meet up somewhere. But some people live in the States. It's like, okay, I'm happy to do a live video. I'm happy to send you, a video, not even live, but any videos or whatever to you. If you want to see every inch of it, that's fine. But I think when it's physical and in a beautiful shop with beautiful lighting, it would just look a lot more.
And things sing to you.
They sing, yeah, exactly. And they're physically called to you as well.
You can hear them.
Yeah.
If you listen really closely, you can hear those malachite slabs saying my name.
Yeah, they do. You love them.
Obsessed. And so that is some really exciting bits for the potential future of Tali Loz. Is there anything you want to add about your year? Is there anything that you want to, I don't know, talk about, tell about?
Oh, there's so much I want to talk about. I think mainly is just being really grateful for the circle that I've created around myself throughout the years, and that really all help me now, like yourself, for example. Doing Reiki with Becky as well, because I've done my level 1 with Becky.
Amazing.
In the last few weeks of September. So, which is amazing. And I think, nothing is coincidence. Everything is meant to be.
Absolutely. I've always said everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I do believe that everything not only happens for a reason, it happens at the exact right time.
Yes.
And sometimes you have no idea what that reason is or why.
Nope.
Until one day it just clicks.
Just clicks.
And I think that everything that's happened in the last 2 or 3 years for you and I,
yes,
have literally brought us to this moment and
sat
us down together, celebrating.
Yeah.
And talking about the whirlwind year.
It's been well, yeah, that's the right word. It's been a whirlwind. It's like very highs and very lows and a lot of insecurities, and then you get really secure again, and then up and downs all the time.
Yeah.
But I think that's all. Everybody with a small business is that way. And everybody has ups and downs.
I know I've listened to a few things that you've done podcast wise, and just other interviews that you've done with other people. On the side from Tali Loz. So I know that there are answers to these things, but is there any advice you would give to anybody that's thinking of starting to take that step into creating their own small business?
Yeah, definitely. First, just do it. There is nothing to lose. But I think do be really realistic of A, your budget, and B, your time. Like I have the luxury that, especially in the beginning, I was on furlough, so you still get paid. Then I had some savings, so sort of live on that. And, it's very tight. I've got now a freelance job. But if you work full time, if I were to work full time, it's going to be so much more difficult. So just do it, start your business, but be realistic about your budget and time. And don't be afraid of making mistakes, because guess what? You will make mistakes.
Absolutely.
You will make mistakes. And the good thing about being your own boss is you're your own boss. And the bad thing about being your own boss is you are your own boss.
Facts.
Those are facts. So if someone screws up, you screw up. If you do really good, you do really good. And you will make mistakes. But they are just a compass.
And the only way that you can be successful is if you start.
Yeah, exactly. Without a start, there's no success.
True that.
Real life.
Factual stuff right here. Laura,
thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you so much for all your help and all the people I mentioned before as well.
Yeah.
Tali and Shireen and Diego and Ellis and Rania and George and many more people.
Yeah, absolutely. So many people out there making a little impact on Tali Loz. But of course, the Queen of Tali Loz, Laura.
Queen of Tali Loz.
We salute you.
Loz.
We thank you for making the world a more beautiful place with all of these beautiful crystals.
Oh, thank you.
And super exciting. Good luck.
Thank you.
With the future of Tali Loz. I will be there by your side anyway. So
yes, you will.
From a distance, but by your side at the same time. It's very strange. But I'm really excited to see where the future takes us. And I think that's really everything.
I think it's a good anniversary chat.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for
you.
having me as your guest host today. I've enjoyed it.
Yes.
And like I say, good luck.
Thank you.
And let's see where it takes us.
Thank you so much for listening to the Tali Loz podcast. Next week, psychic medium Phoebe talks about grief and spirit connections.